Welcome to Analyst Talk with Jason Elder. It's like coffee with an analyst, or it could be whiskey with an analyst reading a spreadsheet, linking crime events, identifying a series, and getting the latest scoop on association news and training. So please don't beat that analyst and join us as we define the law enforcement analysis profession one episode at a time.
How are we doing, analysts? Jason Elder here with another LEA podcast deep dive. Real crime all the time. And with me, as always, is one Nikki North. Nikki, how are we doing today?
We're doing good, Jason. How are you doing?
I am doing very well. It's been a while since you and I chatted. We had last did it winter in the spring, and now we're beating the heat in Florida, and now it's getting into the Florida fall weather.
Absolutely. It's definitely starting to get a little chilly.
Yes, but Florida cold.
That's right.
All right. What are we talking about today?
Let's do some AI today. I think sounds good. I know that's definitely a hot topic.
Yeah, that's a pretty big topic. What's your message that you want to send AI as it relates to real-time crime centers?
I think the biggest thing is there's so many different variations of AI, which is a whole conversation in itself for another day. But just to really drive home the fact of AI is just a lead for an investigation. You cannot make AI your whole case. As great of a technology component as it is, it's just a lead. You still have to do actual investigative work beyond what a computer is telling you.
Yeah, and I can see where that would be easy to do. Just go with what AI tells you.
Plug in a picture to facial recognition. It's like, oh, this is a 99% match. Perfect. That's all I needed. No, that's not the case.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine you need other corroborating information, that it might just point you in the right direction. And then once you get more evidence, you're like, oh, okay, you can then corroborate or downplay that tip that I guess it would just be like any other tip that the real-time crime center might evaluate, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, it's literally a pointer system. That is exactly what it is when you search a name and you're trying to find leads, it's the same thing, just with imagery or keywords or whatever it may be exactly.
When you're talking about imagery, is that getting into facial recognition? Is that getting into maybe graffiti, tattoos? What are we talking about there?
See, I feel like that's like the whole concept of like AI is when you hear it, everyone just thinks like, oh, like you have ChatGPT and Gemini and all this stuff, but there's also facial recognition. There's also, detection stuff like show me all the red cars, show me all the trucks with this in the back. So I know that's a lot of what different platforms are working for is as soon as they hear AI, they think it's the same thing when there's just so many different components to what AI actually is.
Yeah. Now, at your department, do you have a particular AI model or program that you use?
So we have some facial recognition programs there. We have a couple of those at least, but we use pretty much daily, I would say, as good pointer systems. And then we also have integrated into our Fusus platform. We have some of the AI on our actual cameras too. So our traffic cameras, some of the other ones to help us detect like suspect vehicles or anything. It's a good preliminary check of, hey, we just had a car break. We're looking for a red sedan. Cool, we have a camera in that park. Let's just run it through real quick. Oh, there's nothing. Like, we're not just going to stop there, though. We're still going to look and manually make sure. But it's at least could save you a few seconds, could save you a few minutes, could save you a few hours.
Mm-hmm. And it's been a minute. Remind me about Fusus.
So Fusus is basically our platform that integrates everything into one. So like we have our city traffic cameras in there. We have all of our license plate readers in there. We have some of our own deployed cameras in there, our body cameras, which we can live stream. Pretty much anything that we could think of to try to put into one map for us to be able to access, as well as everyone in the agency. And then, of course, everyone has different permissions within it because we do have like our school cameras and that kind of stuff too.
Yeah. Now, are you so fancy that you can have AI running automatically? Because some of this stuff I could just see license plate readers or the cameras, stuff that it just picks up automatically that AI could evaluate, as opposed to an analyst saying, okay, AI, we want this specific thing to be evaluated.
There's definitely programs out there like BriefCam and things along those lines that can do that for you. Right now, we personally aren't using any. Being a smaller agency, it's just not one of the things we've needed thus far. But there's absolutely a benefit to stuff like that. I know a big one could be if you have like a known narcotics location, that it triggers telling you if there's like an increased amount of traffic in front of that location. You could automatically get notified and then know to send resources that way. Like you said, vandalism. If you know you're having vandalism in your parks after hours, and you all of a sudden get 2 kids showing up, it could notify you, and that way to send someone that way and check it out.
Geez, oh,
So
yeah, that sounds like a lot of potential there. Maybe some potential false positives or sending you down the wrong path, but that definitely has some potential there to at least curb some of the issues that a department may have.
absolutely. That's why we've so far, being all civilian staff, we really don't try to go the proactive route as much at this point. We
Hmm.
mostly try to stay reactive. That way you kind of still keep that reflection from your community of, we're only accessing the technology based on what you people are calling in. We're not using it just from what we're seeing or catching or anything like that. It's because someone called in.
Yeah. Now, do you have any good stories about using AI in the real-time crime center?
Trying to think of a good one here. I know, like I said, facial rec is probably our biggest AI contributor that we use to get us a lot of good leads. Like, we'll find people that it gives us a good match. It'll say like it's a 99% match. And as soon as you start digging into them, if you're looking at them for a burglary, sure enough, when you start looking in other databases, oh, look, they have a history of 15 burglaries. Probably a pretty good chance this is going to be our suspect. Okay, now we have to figure it out what their vehicle is. Oh, look, their vehicle's never been in our county except for the day of this crime.
Yeah.
So I'd say facial rec is definitely our most top used. We have used, of course, like some of the features within our Fusus platform, though, to find like specific colors of vehicles and stuff like that. I haven't had like some crazy, like ridiculous success story that I can think of right now, but it is stuff that is used almost daily.
Yeah, that reminds me, I recently had on the show Angie Stroda from Hutchinson PD in Kansas City. She had a really cool case in which she had a ATM robbery series,
Mm-hmm.
and she used license plate reader and identified which license plate was all in the same location
Oh, yeah. Yep.
during all the ATM
Yep.
robberies. And then she was thinking that it was out of state, so she threw out all the in-state ones and whittled it down to just one vehicle, which was really cool to use the data like that. So I can imagine in that scenario too that AI would be helpful if you ask the right question. Okay,
Yep.
which ones are all in the same location, or which ones have hit all these cameras? Give me that list.
And something like that, you could even take it a step further with some of the AI too, and do what's called a convoy search, and basically see too, like if there's a secondary vehicle that's like consistently traveling with that vehicle. So, and like, for example, when we had an ATM burglary a few years back, we had a truck that got stolen, and we were able to kind of figure out that truck traveling with the other truck based on using those kind of searches. So we looked at like specific sites and saw these 2 trucks together, and we're like, okay, something suspicious. This is probably the truck that tried to pull the ATM. And then here's the stolen vehicle that's also linked to it.
I mean, it's interesting because I think obviously AI is just really being implemented. And I feel as the technology gets to such that everybody has basically their own AI module. I'm not using that correct term, but everybody, each police department is going to have basically their own AI module running on their system. That in terms of the real-time crime center world, it's okay adding a name, and then it's the AI is making decisions, identifying all the sources, which ones are the best for the question that you're asking it, and returning a list based on the history and whatnot. So instead of the analyst going through and checking through 27 databases, this AI will go through, run a name, plate, or location, and then spit back best chance of being the most useful.
And like what I see the future of that even being too is, say you have a known shoplifting ring and they're hitting targets all across the state. It could get to the point where everyone has target cameras integrated then, and one Target store plugs in that name, and it alerts you when they walk into another Target store or something based on the facial recognition. Could be the future of stuff like that too.
Yeah. Now, do you feel that the facial recognition technology is that accurate?
Our
We've
results we
gotten.
get are normally pretty accurate. Like if it's giving you a match that's like 99%, it's normally pretty solid. So normally within like the 96 to 100% range, like we're definitely looking at it to see. And then once you kind of start getting lower than that, it's a little more questionable. But I mean, when we get results, they're normally pretty accurate. So I mean, it seems spot on so far. I think it's only a matter of time as they figure out more and more sources to where to pull pictures from too, because a lot of it right now is only booking related. So if you've never been arrested, it's a little harder sometimes. There are some social media ones, but you have all these avatars that people are using now for their profile pictures and stuff like that. So it's not necessarily foolproof quite yet, but I'm sure that's something that'll continue to advance too.
Yeah. I guess what about using AI? I guess maybe not typically, or maybe stuff that isn't picture related. So it's not related to the license plate reader or camera. It's
So I've been
what's a
doing
good
a lot of
example of that?
with different AI stuff lately. So I mean, there's all kinds of ones to think of. There's some where it's even just policy based. Of a lot of people use Power DMS for their policies. I know that's what we use, and it is almost impossible to actually try to search for a keyword in a policy. So there's certain platforms that are basically saying like, "Hey, we're CGIS compliant. You can pull all of our policies in our program, and we'll make it so it works for accreditations too." And it basically becomes a ChatGPT for your policies. And then there's other ones that go a step further and integrate legal statutes. And then there's other ones where you could plug in your case report and say, hey, are there any other leads I could have followed up on? Did I miss something? Was there something else I could have done? What charges can I do? So, I mean, there's so many different variations of stuff that you can do with it for timelines, even. I know that's another common request for crime analysts is to help with making timelines. There's programs out there that you basically plug in a case report. It tries to generate a timeline for you, and you just kind of mess around with the pictures and the wording and make sure everything lines up correctly.
No, I think there's definitely a lot of potential for documentation using AI.
Mm-hmm.
And this goes hand in hand with what we have talked about previously, which is just the enormous amount of data that analysts have access to now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm always flabbergasted when I talk to different analysts and they how much different data sets, databases, resources they have access to. And in the real-time crime center world, and I think we had this might have been one of our first conversations was when to say when to go, when are you going down a rabbit hole that's not going to have a return on investment? How do you know when to stop? In terms of all these different leads and tracking the different sources. And so I think because of the enormous amount of data that is at the disposal of these real-time crime centers, it's only fitting that you're going to have an AI to help process all that data.
Yep, because as you get more and more of that technology too, you figure you used to get a shoplifter, you maybe got a video, but if you didn't have any kind of vehicle description or anything, or even if you did, your best bet was you could kind of go into the DHMV database and look up make and model and hope you found the right vehicle. Now you have these license plate readers that you can search if they were in the area at that time. You can search based on descriptions. You can search based on stickers even. Like there's so many different variations of what you can search now. So it's making it that cases that used to just get closed out so quickly, that's not the case anymore because now there are investigative leads that could be followed that weren't able to be previously followed.
Yeah. No, I think there's obviously a lot to that. And for the listeners, if you have a good story you want to share, reach out to us. Email me at leapodcast@gmail.com or just comment on one of our social media sites. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, X. So just find us and give us a story. Nikki, I guess anything else for the good of the order in terms of the topic?
I think that's about it for the topic. Like I said, I mean, if you wanted each specific one, that's a whole separate conversation in itself. But I think that definitely is a good general coverage of just a glimpse into the AI life.
Yeah, and it's common. One of the questions I like to ask on the podcast is the return on investment. What is something that an analyst can study now that's going to be important 5 years from now? And AI is definitely going to be there 5 years from now. So it's definitely something that it'll be interesting to see how it matures and how it's used in 5 years or as we get to the 2030s.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I know even since I started looking originally when we started the Crime Center 5 years ago compared to now, there's so many more programs advertising it.
Yeah. Now that's a question. Do you think that potentially could put the real-time crime centers out of business, right?
I feel like it's such a mixed answer because yes and no, because you still need that human element to verify what you're getting. Because I know still things like D's read as O's and B's. So there's still always that element as it continues to improve. Who knows, maybe from 100 years from now, the technology might be that good to knock it out of business.
Yeah. Well, where I guess my mind was going, I didn't even go to that part of it. Where I was going with is as patrol officers or investigators have access to that at their fingertips, that there's not that need to go to the central hub of a real-time crime center because all of that is at their disposal, maybe in their vehicle.
I think if it gets efficient enough, maybe. I know even for now, like for example, like we gave access to everyone in our agency to get to FUSIS, to get to the
Mhm.
traffic cameras, and we still get daily requests to get
Yeah.
video of the traffic cameras. So I
Yeah.
think like maybe if it became like a quicker process and it was literally like a ChatGPT, like export the video from this time and date, and it did it, then
Yeah.
maybe you might get there one day. But I think a lot of people are used to having that piece to fall back on, and they're still
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
for the time being at least.
All right. For at least for now, the employment future is fine with the real-time crime center.
Yes, I would say so.
All right. Let's just finish up with some updates here. So, what do you want to promote today?
So we'll just go into a couple quick things. So I know we just recently had the National Real-Time Crime Center Association conference up in Cobb County, Georgia. I unfortunately did not attend this year, but I heard a lot of great things, and it was a sold-out conference yet again. So that's awesome to hear. To the point, pretty much going forward, they're always going to be in convention centers now because of the numbers we've been looking at. So next year we'll be over in Phoenix. So they're working out some details with the Phoenix Convention Center and all that over there. Now that the
Do you
conference is done on this side, I'm kind of looking more into actually developing a Southeast region now. So I am the Southeast Region Director. I've kind of laid off of it just because I knew the conference was here this year. So starting around January, I'm going to be looking for some people to get more involved and hopefully have some smaller level events besides just the conference too. So that way if people can't make it over to the west part of the country, you still have options to get some training.
Yeah. Back to the conference, do you know how many people attended this year?
I know it was over 1,000,
Wow, nice.
more than I expected.
Nice. Nice. And I guess in terms of the your regional association, I know it's the Southeast United States, but if somebody's listening to this, maybe wants to get involved or join, what states does the regional part
It
include?
spreads pretty far. Do not quote me 100% on this. I have to officially verify because I know it was something we were still working through. But I believe it starts pretty much over at Louisiana and makes its way up into Virginia. So it's a pretty wide span
Hmm.
of where exactly it goes to.
All right. All right.
And
Yeah.
then, of course,
And
all the way down to Florida.
all right, nice. And as always, we'll leave contact information for Nikki and some additional links in the show notes. And then there was another association you wanted to promote.
Yes, this one's relatively newer that I recently learned about, and I'm just definitely starting to get a little more involved with them and learn some stuff. It's the National Association of Professional Staff in Public Safety. And I mean, it ranges. It's a good, basically, it's to those of us without a badge that are essentially civilians, which is the term we're trying to stray away from, is opportunities within law enforcement trainings to just kind of give you something. So, I mean, it's a wide array of people, though. Like, it could be executive assistants, human resources, crime analysts. It's just kind of that extra piece within the agency to have opportunities to train and connect and to include some leadership training too, because it is a little different being a professional staff leadership position compared to a sworn leadership position.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it would probably be beneficial to get in the same room as HR staff and to realize that they are human and they have a job to do. And that with them, you not knowing who they are, every time you get frustrated with HR, you swearing under your breath.
Exactly. So I'm sure they appreciate that side of it too.
Yeah, it does sound like an interesting combination of people. I think it's would be fascinating the diversity because there's obviously opportunities to learn from those various aspects.
Like it's everything like crime scene, IT, your dispatchers, almost anything you could think of is what they're looking to target.
Hmm. All right. And you said their conferences in Miami?
So they have a 1 day event coming up here
Okay.
next month in November in Miami, and then they have a bigger conference that they're working on as well.
All right. No,
And then they're starting to make their way to some of the events. So they're at IACP and just different stuff. They're starting to get involved with the National Real-Time Crime Center Association. So that was actually how I learned about them, was from partnering the Crime Center Association with them.
Yeah. No, that'll be fascinating to read up on to see what their mission is. While I like the diversity, it is also kind of a lots of players means that can get pretty heavy.
Correct. That
And
you can't really have direct trainings necessarily then, because it can't be targeted directly at analysts when you have all these other different positions in there.
Yeah, yeah. But it's always a good networking opportunity and an opportunity to learn about some other aspect of public safety because you never know when it's going to be important as an analyst.
Absolutely.
All right, Nikki. And hey, before I go, congratulations on being a mother for the first time.
Yes, thank you. That's why we had such a gap between spring and fall, was I was busy with my little guy. So now we're getting
Yeah.
back into the routine again.
All right. And it wasn't a very simple pregnancy. He was a little early, right?
Yeah, he came 2 months early and spent just shy of a month in the NICU. So
Oh,
definitely took us on an adventure.
oh man. Now, that's might be TMI. Do premature babies run in either one of your families, you and your husband?
They do actually, his mother was a premature baby,
Yeah.
but ours was more directly. He was an IVF baby. We had been trying for years in the
Oh, okay.
place. So from IVF, your chances of preeclampsia were increased. So she
Oh, okay.
developed preeclampsia.
Yeah. Well, see, that's all kinds of new stuff that I learned. But obviously, I'm glad that the whole thing worked out and that it was certainly scary there for a while. But how old is he now?
He just turned 6 months on the 9th. So
Man, yeah. He's probably already a little mobile and he's probably looking to be walking here.
he is rolling like crazy and trying to figure out how to crawl. So
Yeah.
he was very mobile inside too. So he will, once he gets moving, he will be moving.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's certainly fun. Quite an adventure ahead of you. So congratulations again.
Well, thank you.
All right, Nikki. Thank you again for this time. Always look forward to chatting with you. Real crime all the time. Until next time, take care.
Thank you for making it to the end of another episode of Analyst Talk with Jason Elder. You can show your support by sharing this and other episodes found on our website at www.leapodcasts.com. If you have a topic you would like us to cover or have a suggestion for our next guest, please send us an email at leapodcasts@gmail.com. Till next time, analysts, keep talking.